what's up guys, and welcome to today's episode of Fill Your Noggin with Brain Food. So today we're going to talk about LS pumps, LS water pumps, and pulleys, balancer pulleys, spacing, as much as I know about it, and perfect opportunity for you guys to leave it in the comments. So I'll go over why I have all of these. I actually have a total of 7 LS water pumps in my possession right now, including that guy, and the one on that truck and one on the shelf. So we're going to go over this stuff. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some spacing, why I have all these, and hopefully that'll help somebody make a decision. All right, guys, so let's go over these things from left to right. So starting on the left, we have the truck style. A lot of you guys are very familiar with that guy. This is the farthest spacing from the engine, and very, very, very common. Find them in junkyards everywhere. That's all full of rust and junky. So this is the LS1 style. So this is a little bit closer to the engine. It's actually about 3/4 inch spacing from the truck to the LS1 style. This is another approximately 3/4 of an inch in from the LS1 style. So some people are confused on that. And it was definitely something that I learned at one point. So this is actually narrower, tighter to the engine than the LS1 style. And then this is the LSA style. There's a few key differences here. The LSA has the supercharger, the blower on top of it. So there's some things that are different between these two, which I'll go over a little bit later. But the overall spacing, the stick out is pretty much the same. So again, starting from the left side, this is the truck style balancer. This is the LS1 Camaro style balancer, and this is like the Corvette style balancer. So this is the same spacing as the LSA balancer, but the LSA balancer is also going to have another set of ribs for the blower belt. So that's the big difference there. So you can see that these are basically 3/4 of an inch closer to the block than the truck. So this balancer is going to go with this water pump, and then this balancer would go with these two. They would match the spacing here. But you also have these things like this, and I just have them zip tied together. You can buy these kits. These are spacer kits. So if you wanted to run the LS1 style pump with the truck style pulley, you could space the water pump away from the engine and still run the same belt setup, but you would have a different water neck point. So if we're looking at the water pump, the neck is coming out straight out the front of it. The thermostat housing and the heater core lines, those are all the same, but this is going to come straight out instead of up in the air. Whereas the truck style water pump, you can see it comes straight out the top, kind of up in the air. Not good if you have a really tight hood clearance. That's why you might want to switch to the water neck coming out, straight out the front. Gives you a little more hood clearance, but you can use these spacers and give you the right belt spacing without having to get a different balancer. So the reason I have these two pumps is I was planning on originally buying a pump like this because I wanted to have the shallower spacing. As you can see, the pulley sticks out quite a bit, the nose is a lot higher, and that would be mounted in the same spot. But the spacing is a little bit different for the belt. So when I originally bought this one, they ended up sending me the wrong one, and I just never sent it back. So I wanted this style. They sent me this style, and then I ordered this one again, but this one also has a different spacing. So then I didn't feel like buying a new balancer for it. So then I ended up just running this one anyways, because I found the spacing that I needed. I wanted to see what the possibility was, because I was kind of testing this in a way, really. I just wanted to see what the narrowest possibility was. So ended up buying this one and this one just to see what it did, and then realized that I was going to stay with the LS1 balancer and the LS1 pump because I had the spacing that I needed. So, holy moly, one breath. These two pulleys stick out the same distance. This one's a little bit higher, so these get sucked in pretty close. But you want to see the big differences between these, I'll go into that now. If you're looking at this one has the water neck coming out on the left side, so on the passenger side. Everything else is pretty much the same, but this one's here. So now if we compare to the LSA style, there's a few things that are different on this. Aside from the water neck being on the driver's side, there's some differences in the overall spacing of everything. All right, so now we have this like LS3, LS7 style with the passenger side water neck, and then we have the LSA with the driver's side water neck. So you'll see a couple differences here. So the LSA style has these little nubs coming out here. So you have on the back side, on this other one, you have these 3 mounting holes. That's just where your bolts are going to go in that mount the water pump to the block. So you have the same 3 holes on the LSA style, but you also have this other tensioner section sticking out for the tensioner to mount to. So this tensioner is actually going to be for the LSA blower belt. So your normal tensioner is going to bolt here, just like normal, but you also have these guys sticking out so you can put the other tensioner on, and then you run that 3rd belt. So you can see, like if you're looking at it from the top where the thermostat housing is, this seems like it sticks out a little bit, but it's actually the water pump is kind of coming in a little bit more, so it makes some clearance for the tensioner and this other belt section where this is kind of just flat right here. So the spacing overall is a little bit more. You can see this mounting point, this gasket surface that mounts to the block, does protrude out a little bit farther than where the back of this section is, would be close to the block. And here you can see it's like completely flush. So it is sucked in a little bit more on this section, but the belt spacing, I believe it's the same. I believe it's all the same. It does measure the back of the back of the pulley does measure the same distance from the mounting surface. I did measure that. So the pulley is a little bit narrower. This is sucked in a little bit to make a little bit more clearance. Your belt is going to be pretty tight, not a lot of wiggle room, where this one's going to have a little bit more spacing for the belt, and then this one's going to have just sort of like a ridiculous like 1/2 inch on each side of the belt. So that's pretty much it. I think that's about all I know at this point. But wanted to show you guys the differences, show you guys all of the pumps. I got way too many pumps here. And the pulley differences, the spacing, so you can run the LS1 style with the truck accessory drive if you wanted to make some hood clearance, because some guys are putting truck engines in like a 240SX, let's say, and then they want the water neck to come out the front, so you have some hood clearance. So you can use the cheap truck motor, throw the LS1 water pump on it, use the same spacing, not have to get the expensive balancer. You got some options here. Just need these little spacers. These things are usually pretty cheap, like 30 bucks or something like that. And some of them even have a little threaded little bung in there so you can run your steam vent to it. So that's kind of cool. Let me know if you guys got any questions on this stuff, because I could probably show the spacing a little bit more. So this is just set on the backside. Like I said before, the LSA style would normally have the other set of ribs for the blower belt, but this is all what the spacing would look like. There's a couple different ways you can measure it. So then you can just take a straight edge sometimes across this and measure it, just to see what spacing you have. If you're not sure if you have the LS1 or the Corvette style. And this sucker's pretty deep. That one's real deep, like 3 inches. That's pretty much it. That's all I'm really going to go over today. Just thought I'd make a quick video for you guys because I got all this stuff laying around, and I don't know, I'll probably keep it around. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff, but maybe I'll use it for something someday, or sell it or something. Have a good one, guys.